Welcome to Don't Be Shady, the podcast where we keep it real about love, dating, and relationships. No sugarcoating, no games, just the raw truth about red flags, boundaries, healing, and everything in between. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and let's get into it, because around here, we don't do shady. Welcome back to Don't Be Shady. I'm so excited because today I have a special guest joining me. She's not only a powerful voice, but also a fellow podcaster. She's the host of Girl Stop Talking. She uses her platform to spark conversations that matter, and today she's here to share her story, her perspective, and her light. So before we dive in, though, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that some topics we'll be discussing may touch on sensitive areas like domestic violence. If you or someone that you know is experiencing domestic violence, you are not alone and help is available. Please contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, or you can text START to 888-788. They're available 24/7 for confidential and free. There's also another resource. It's called RAIN, for Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. You can also contact them at 1-800-656-HOPE for support related to sexual assault. If you are outside of the United States, please contact your local hotlines or emergency numbers in your country for immediate assistance. Your safety matters, and reaching out for help is a brave and powerful step. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks. No, that was such a nice intro. I got like all excited, and then I was like, "Whoa, it just got real serious."
Right? That's how it is.
No, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So glad you're here. So your podcast. So we're going to start very light.
Okay.
So your podcast is called Girl Stop Talking. What inspired that title? And what made you want to start a podcast in the first place?
Oh my God, that's like a loaded question. Really what it came down to was I do lashes as a day job, and during my single wild era, I was basically dating enough to not have to pay for groceries. Like, I just had food on the fridge. It was not a big deal. I was taking my experiences and talking with them, or telling my clients the stories. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was just something that we were like gossiping about, and it was like really fun and kind of crazy and kind of wild. And this was kind of during the time where like Call Her Daddy got really big, or mm-hmm. she went through her like crazy breakup or whatnot. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, I really loved that show, and I just kept thinking, I'm like, I feel like I could do this. So that's kind of what inspired it. It was like, I'm already talking for hours on end with my clients and leading the conversation and storytelling. And then I make the joke, Girl Stop Talking came from just like, kind of like the fact that I never stop talking, but then it's like a play on words because it's a podcast and that's all you're doing, you know? Yeah, and I make the joke when I started doing lashes. I was like, I always used to get in trouble for talking when I was a kid, and now I just sit and talk for 8 hours a day. So it just fit.
I love it. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it.
Thank you.
So what do you hope women take away from listening to your show?
Honestly, I like to explain it as like a live diary. Mm-hmm. Like, it's everything that's going on in my life, and also like real life experiences. So with like a comedic twist. Like, I like to keep it light. I like to keep it fun. I make jokes. I love to like emasculate a man or two, you know?
That part. I have seen it.
So yeah, I just hope that, you know, if people are interested or they take a chance to listen, I hope that they just leave like feeling inspired, or had a good laugh, or enjoyed like the stories that were shared. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes from there. It's everything from day-to-day stuff to, you know, relationships and like real life stories that you're only really talking about with your girlfriends. Yeah. I'm the girlfriend.
Right. No, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a really great point, because my daughter also does lashes too. And she's like, Mom, you don't believe the stories these people tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very intimate.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, you get someone like eyes closed, walls come down, you like build that relationship with them. And then me, I'll just like gab the whole time, you know?
Mm-hmm. So no one sleeps on your watch?
No, I have like, I've had a couple of people like literally start the appointment with like, I need to nap today. And I'm like, you got it.
Okay, but I have to give you
shut myself up.
I have to tell you. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now my podcast is a little bit more heavy.
Yeah.
Not always, but it does stem around healing and women empowerment and things of that nature. And that can get heavy and it can get ugly. Because I've learned on the healing journey, as you know, being a single, coming out of a single relationship and being by yourself for quite some time, it's not always pretty.
Right.
You know how they make it look on internet, like, oh, I'm healing, it's so beautiful.
I'm like going for runs at 4:30 in the morning and doing my skincare routine and everything's great. But like you didn't post that you were crying for 3 hours the night before.
That part, and binge eating ice cream because you just couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that part,
Yeah.
right? So, and a lot of times there are personal events that bring us to those breaking points where we need to change or we need to share or we need to cry. And again, from real life, these things happen. This podcast was born from a real life situation.
Sure.
And I always think to myself, how many women are hiding? How many women are shamefully hiding behind their stories because we as women are always taught, why did you stay?
Yeah.
What did you do?
For that long.
How could you?
Yeah.
Like, you must like it because you stayed.
Yeah.
Like, I always hear that. And when women, especially women, would shame other women, I would just be mouth dropped to the floor and appalled. But, like, how could you?
Yeah.
Like, you, as a woman yourself, you know better. You know what it is. Just because you're not brave enough to say what your struggles are doesn't mean you're not suffering. Because typically, the ones that I have found that are shaming us are the ones that have the deepest, most rooted secrets.
Sure. I mean, it's like the saying, you know, hurt people, you know, and I think like that can come too from people maybe even not having those experiences, you know, and not everybody. I think most people go through like these crazy relationships that are part of a learning phase, but not everybody does. Like not everybody has those experiences or has had them like so close to home. And so I do think that like sometimes they just come from like a lack of awareness and truly understanding like how it changes like your brain chemistry when you're in something like that too.
Yeah. And, you know, we had to go through those things to learn that and understand that. So now when I hear a woman telling her story, most of the time I'm in tears too.
Yeah.
So I'm in tears with her. And then I'm like, okay, so what can we do to help you? But then we also know too, they have to be ready to do that on their own. Because there are times when my girlfriends will come to me and our girlfriends will tell us
it's
stuff.
It's the hardest. It's literally the hardest thing ever. And it's obviously as your friend, you're coming from a place of love. But it's like, I cannot hear about this 933 more times. Okay? Like,
I had a friend. I was like, I love you. I do. I said, but when you're really, truly ready, I will help you.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
I can't anymore. I love you too much. It hurts me.
It does. Well, and I think for myself, like speaking just genuinely for me, at some point it feels like I start to get like, oh my God, what's the word? Resentment. You know, and it's like, I don't want to resent my friend for not being ready to leave her dusty ass man, you know?
I love that.
But also, I'm like, yeah, it's like, girl, you're coming to me with the same story over and over. We're going around and around in circles. And it's like what the definition of insanity is, like doing the same thing without making any changes or whatever, however it goes.
Expecting the same result.
There we go. Yeah, that's like definitely been hard. That's been like a hard thing for me. Even had going through some of the drama that I had gone through and knowing like how it works, that specific, like dealing with friends that are dealing with it is still so hard for me because it's like, you know what your friend is capable of, but they're not ready to make those decisions. And then you still have to like hear about it. It says, how do you find that balance where it's like, how do I be here for you in the ways you need me to, but also not have to listen to the same thing over and over again.
Right. It's a thin line.
Yeah.
Almost like a thin line between love and hate.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a different word for it, but I don't know what that word is.
Yeah.
It's a thin line.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I don't want to.
Well, and you still want your friend to like come to you.
Right.
Too. Like, you don't want them to feel like you're going to judge them or like they're going to have to hide anything from you. So, yeah.
It's a hard line. Absolutely. We're skating on the,
Yeah.
I want you to come to me, but I don't.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it, but I don't.
Yeah.
But I want to hug you, but I don't.
Yeah.
Like, we're bipolar. No, not really, but we act like we are. All right. So talking about personal truths and conversations, what has your experience been? Like, what was your experience on that subject? Like, what did you go through?
Oh my God, just get right into it. Okay, 10 minutes in. Tell me about your trauma.
All right, let's cry about it.
I don't think I'll cry. I think like I've definitely done a lot of healing since then. And I mean, man, where do I start? I think before sharing like the actual story, I think it's important to know like a little more about how I realized like why I chose these relationships. And like I did just talk about this on my show as well. Subtle hint, desperate for love. But that's really what it was for me. Like looking back, I continued to choose men to be like validated because I was quite literally desperate for a relationship. Like I remember growing up and like every year for Christmas I would put like to Santa, I want a boyfriend.
You know what? I remember this episode. I watched it.
Yeah, I said it to you.
You did. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if I shared that in that episode too, but I just remember as a kid like all my friends always had boyfriends. I felt like I never had a boyfriend, and I was like, I just want a boyfriend. I want to be in love. Like I am a hopeless.
It's romantic.
Oh
yeah.
And so it's like the movies and like what we're taught as kids and all those things. And because I was so desperate to be loved, I then picked men that like gave me the attention and the validation that I thought I wanted, but like they were clearly red flags. Does that make sense?
So basically you were collecting red flags.
I was collecting them. I had a basket. I was like, what's her name? Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood.
You made a cape.
Out of all the red flags I collected, quite literally. That's so funny. So the relationship that really was, I think, the most traumatic for me was like the final relationship. It was throughout my life, there had been like we said, the collection of red flags, progressively one worse and worse and worse after the other. And, you know, the last one was very, I don't know, it was like, it's so interesting, like, looking back, because I genuinely look at, like, the first couple dates that we had, and, like, he was so obviously telling me he didn't like me. And it was just, but I was just like, well, if why not?
I'm amazing.
You know? I don't know. It was, so I met this guy, I think off of Facebook, and we went on a date. We were talking for a little bit. We went on a date. I think it was like to Dave & Buster's or something like that. And this was the first, I'm pretty sure it was the first date. Mm-hmm. Halfway through the date, he was like, I'm going to go. Like, I'm going to leave. Like, this is honestly embarrassing. I like thinking about
You're like, oh my God, I'm going to say this out loud right now.
No, it's like happening in real time. It's embarrassing. Yeah, he was like, I'm going to leave. And he was like smoking a cigarette outside. And I remember thinking, like, we just got here. Like, we just put money on the card. You know what I mean? Like, we were playing games, whatever. And then he basically told me, like, well, he was bored. So then, and then, like, made an excuse. I knew what he was doing was lying. Yeah. And then for whatever reason, you know, I was like, okay, whatever. I ended up leaving. And then we were friends on Snapchat. I saw that he was out like all night on Snapchat. So basically it was like, he was bored of me. He was like, I need to ditch this girl and then I'm going to go out. Like, that's what happened.
Oh, wow.
And for some reason, still, because of this, like, I don't know, it's like the push in the pool, the like wanting the chase, the like, well, he was so cute and like he didn't even get a chance to know who I am. I like called him out for it, and then that kind of like started our relationship basically. Then we like went out on a couple more dates and
Did he ditch you those times?
dating. No. The first time. I don't know. So did I answer the question? You were just asking me kind of open-ended, like how did this happen, right?
So we're telling the beginning as to why. So we're leading up to that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it was like one of those relationships that was like not very long, but it felt like forever. I mean, it kind of did last for way longer than it should have.
Yeah, I should have ended that day at David Buster's.
No, girl, for real. You should have heard my roommate and my best friend at the time. She's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking? I can't even make excuses. I have no idea. I don't know. Listen, like, we live and we learn.
And then
we learn again.
Yeah. Yes. It's a revolving door.
Yeah. At that point it was, not anymore. But, yeah, like, I think what really, like, why we really stayed together is we were both drinking and like partying a lot, and I think it was quite literally we were the only ones that could hang. Like, we would be the ones to like pull all-nighters and like stay up and like be at the end of the party and continue to like and do it, you know, like Friday, Saturday, and then do like a pool party on Sunday. Like, we were, you know, it was like toxic alcohol-fueled love.
Yeah.
Love. I didn't even mean to say that.
How long does the relationship last?
Okay, so it started in February of 2018, and it officially ended, I think it was June. So that's only like 6 months or something. Was that right? February, March, April, May. Yeah, the first time I like officially broke up with him was May, and that was also like the first time of like I say the first time of the physical violence, but there was like little like things like what could I get away with type of thing.
I'm gonna test you.
Yeah, and then that like May was the first where he like literally cracked the windshield of my car when I was trying to leave his house with his hand. He like refused to let me leave, and he was like getting behind my car so I couldn't reverse. And then he would like run to the front, and like then he'd run to the back, and it was like literally just trying to like get out of there because of just the chaos that was happening beforehand, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was like the first time where I was like, holy shit, like that was crazy. But I will say, once I did finally reverse, I can remember this so clear as day, like a movie. And I'm like laughing because it was like one of those moments where if I'm making excuses for him, he was wasted. And so like the excuse would be, I don't think he realized like how aggressive he was being. But again, like I said, I clarified if I'm making excuses. But it was like in that moment when he shattered the windshield, his roommate pulled him off, and then I reversed and I'm pulling out, and he's in the middle of the street like, no!
You're like, what just happened?
It felt like a movie scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, a scary one, but yeah, it was just so, it's like engraved into my head, and it's like something that I feel like I can laugh at now because I'm like, oh my God, the drama. Like, look at what you caused. You just said, like, look at, yeah, like his roommate like tackled him to the ground, and he's like trying to get up off the ground, like, don't go.
So that was like the end of that.
That was like what I thought was the end. Like, that was the first time I was like, no.
This is not okay.
Yeah, I think like after that night, oh my God, no, it actually just got worse. I was out, I was trying to go out with one of my girlfriends, and she was with me. We couldn't drive the car, so because the windshield was cracked, like in pieces, like glass was in my car, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, we both just, I had to get out of like that moment.
Correct.
And so we like pulled into like a neighborhood down the street, like parked the car. And I was supposed to be staying at one of my girlfriend's houses that night, or I think I was supposed to be staying at his house, but she said I could stay at her house, but she still lived with her parents. I don't know. It was this whole thing. And then we ended up going out, and I was like, fuck that. We ended up out at the same bar. So like
after that incident?
Yes.
Oh Lord. So
yes.
You guys basically just got into a DV situation. Your windshield is cracked. You're supposed to be staying with him, but instead you went and stayed with your girlfriend that lived with her parents. And of course how old are you guys at this point?
This was 2018. So this was like 8 years ago. So I guess I was like 22.
Oh,
Yeah.
still a baby.
So still, yeah, like just barely
you could barely drink.
drinking. Yeah.
You were just having a good ass time.
Just,
I mean,
yeah, going, you know, like that moment you're young, like you finally get to the bars, you're like having fun, whatever. And then, yeah, it was just.
And walks in.
Fucking.
Perpetrator.
Yes. Yeah, so it was bad. He showed up at the bar. There was drama there. Somehow my girlfriend at the time ended up ditching me. So then I was by myself and my phone was like dead. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be staying at her house. She left to another bar. Like, it was like this whole, like, you think the story can't get worse, and it quite literally does, to the point that, like, I had nowhere else to go that night. I ended up sleeping on his couch.
No.
Because I was so pissed off at my friend for, like, ditching me.
Number one, that's like a number one girl rule. You
Yeah.
do not leave your girlfriends at the bar.
Well, and she witnessed it all. She was with me the whole day, you know? And then, I understand if it's not something you want to deal with, but I think what happened is I wanted to just leave. I'm like, I don't want to be here. And she didn't want to go home. Yeah. So I was like, well, all my shit is at your house. Like, I need your key. Like, I have to be able to get my shit, like, deal with my fucking car, like, all this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened after that, but I didn't make it back to her house. I ended up, like, somehow leaving with him by the end of the night and, like, sleeping on his couch. Yeah.
And then?
And I woke up in the morning and he found someone to fix the windshield the same morning and he did pay for it. But then after that, I, like, deleted him off of everything. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is not okay. But, you know, then, like, a couple days go by and that's, like, where the manipulation starts, where I'm so sorry and, you know, like, I didn't mean to do that and I'm never going to do this again and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's... And I knew what I was doing was wrong. Like, I knew that, like, if I told anyone else about this that didn't already, like, see this happen.
They would think you're crazy.
They would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm no one to talk. Believe me, I've been looked at like I'm crazy, delusional, psychopathic, dramatic. But, I mean... I don't even know what to say about all those things because I probably damn sure was in those moments in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So now that you deleted him off everything, does the story end or does it get better?
That's just the beginning. I mean, for entertainment purposes, maybe it gets better. But no, like, it actually kind of just got worse, I feel like, at that point. Man, it's so crazy, like, even thinking about this time in my life because so much has changed.
Right.
And I actually recently just opened up about this on my podcast, like, the story. I don't think I've ever told, like, the full thing in verbatim. But after that, we ended up... This is, like, even saying it out loud, I'm like, how much time do we have?
Enough time?
Yeah. I'm like, God damn. It had been like a week or so, and like
he's deleted off everything. So like you blocked him on your phone.
I think I had him blocked for a couple of days, and then unblocked him, or maybe didn't block him at that point. But like, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah,
it was honestly so long ago.
Yeah,
I do know at some point we were texting, but I was like very much like not fully engaged in the conversation, and I'm like, I don't want to see you.
Like one answering.
Yeah, like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I so vividly remember I was standing in line at Chick-fil-A, and he walked in the door with flowers, a bouquet of flowers.
How did he know you were there?
Okay, there's a lot of that in this story, okay? I think when we were texting, I was like, I don't think I gave him my location, but he showed up with a bouquet of flowers. I'm like getting cashed out with the sweet Mormon girl at Chick-fil-A.
Right.
And, you know, he walks in with a bouquet of flowers, and to the outside perspective, it looks like, oh my God,
so sweet.
He surprised you. So sweet. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, you don't know that he just broke the windshield to my car, 4 nights ago with his hand, but I guess we'll leave that part out, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember in that moment being like, how the fuck do you know where I am? Like, how did you, whatever. That's still TBD, I guess.
Yeah. Probably never at this point. Yeah.
And then it went on, not for much longer. I think at that point I was a lot more serious of like knowing that like this isn't okay, but he like swore up and down he wanted to be with me and that wasn't going to happen again, this, that, and the other. And I so vividly remember sitting down and like writing like boundaries on my phone, like things that I was no longer willing to accept. Yeah. And I think I had a bigger why, and like why it was, I don't want to say it was easier for me to leave, because it wasn't. I still went through all of the, emotions and trials and like trying to dip your toe back in the water and seeing if he will change, like, which I think every woman goes through. Yeah. But like, I also had a very young son at this point, and I'm like, I don't want first of all, I have to protect my child. There was never any like violence or anything crazy happening in front of my child. But I knew that like, deep down, like, this isn't someone that I can have in my life, and I'm like, I can't let this like vision be the way that like my child grows up. And so I wrote down my boundaries, what I was no longer willing to accept. I told him like, if you want to stay together, these like are non-negotiables. I remember like, it's so crazy how like vivid some memories are when you're like talking about trauma, like certain like pinpoints that are like so vivid.
And then some you're like, I have no clue.
No, literally can't remember half my childhood. Right?
I don't even, dinner? What?
Yeah. Like, what? Didn't that happen yesterday? No.
Did we?
And yeah, I like talked to him I shared those boundaries. I wish I still had them. Like, that would be a great thing to reflect on, Yeah. And I remember telling him like he was staying, the one thing I do remember was he was staying over at my place a lot at that time. And I had a roommate also who was my best friend. And one of the boundaries were, you can no longer stay the night here. You don't live here. Like, we're dating. You're not my man. Not my like man. Yeah. Like you're not our roommate. So you can't stay here anymore. And I remember telling him like, I have to stick to these things, because if you cross these boundaries, like, you're no longer going to be in my life, And I think one of those things too was like, I have to create some space between you and my son if you're not able to hold up your end of the bargain. Like, that I so vividly remember saying, because I remember him like responding and being like, damn, that like really hurt, like hearing that you don't want me to be around your kid anymore,
I mean, look at what his actions cause. There's consequences to your actions.
Exactly. That lasted for 7 days.
Oh God. I mean, at least we're being honest about what we didn't do, right?
Yeah. Well, for him, like it took him 7 whole days of acting right before he
manipulated you,
before he broke or like crossed those boundaries again. Yeah. And that's like honestly where the story gets crazier. And we were out and we were on Mill, and oh wait, no, that's not how it happened. Let me start from the beginning. My roommate was out of town, and we used to have a lockbox on our door that we would keep a key in because we were going out a lot. We didn't want to hold purses or anything. We want our phone, we want our ID when we get home. We know the lockbox code, whatever. That's important for later.
Yeah.
He was very controlling through this whole relationship too. So it's like, I don't like your friends, whatever, that bullshit. Ugh. Like, that's like pretty typical, I think, in these relationships.
Absolutely.
Trying to isolate you from people. But he was trying to be on good behavior. So I went to go hang out with one of my girlfriends, and I told him I would meet him at the bar around 12 o'clock. I drove over to her house. I was supposed to be staying the night at her house. So like my car was over there. All my stuff was over there. Me and her went out until 12. I took an Uber down from Gilbert to Tempe and to go meet him. As soon as I met up with him, he was acting weird. Like, I didn't understand it at the time, but looking back, I think he was like hanging out with other girls or something. Like, just very standoffish, like was texting me the whole time I wasn't there. But then as soon as I got there, like, almost being mean,
like who's this?
Yeah, like, what are you doing, And so there was like a moment where I was like, I'm just gonna go. Like, why am I even here? I'm just gonna go home. And that was like one of those moments where we're arguing in public and people were like looking and like stopping me and asking me if I was okay. Like, I blatantly remember people being like, is everything okay? Like, are you okay? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, in those moments where you're like, I just don't want to be here. I'm just trying to leave the situation.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
I gotta leave now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I just gotta go. I'm like, I'm fine. It's fine. Like, this is just how he is. Like, whatever. I'm just trying to go. We end up like arguing and I call a cab or a Lyft or whatever. And I'm like, or he was making threats about something and whatever. I was like, just go hang out with your friends. You don't want me here anyways. I'm going to go home.
Right.
We were like kind of yelling at each other. The Lyft gets there and he tries to get in the car. And I think in that moment I broke up with him. I was like, you know what? I'm done with you. Like, this is over. We're not together. I'm done. Go hang out with your friends. Like, I don't want to be with you. I think that's what the argument was. So when the Lyft got there, you know, that's like a loss of control thing. They're like, wait, what? I don't have her anymore. Like, I got to get her back. So he got in my Lyft. And I was like, I told the cab driver, I was like, this is not his Lyft. I am the passenger. I'm not getting in the car. He's not to come with me, so I'm not getting in the car if he's in the car. And I basically just stood there and waited, and the guy's like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of the car. Like, this isn't your ride, you know?
Yeah.
He eventually stormed off all mad. I get home and get into my house using, like, the key in the lockbox or whatever, because all my stuff was at my girlfriend's house, because that's where I originally thought I was going to stay.
Right.
My phone was on 11%. Again, like, what the fuck is going on with that phone?
Right?
I didn't have another charger there because all my stuff was at my girlfriend's house. My roommate was out of town. Like, you know, in your young 20s, you're just, like, broke. Like, you know? I mean, we weren't, like, broke, but it's like we didn't have an abundance of chargers.
You're skating by.
Yeah. And I just so vividly remember, like, this was the first time that I, like, with anyone, but especially in a relationship, felt like I feared my life. And that was like the turning and the tipping point for me. I had called a Lyft because none of my shit was there. I was going to go back to my girlfriend's house. So I was waiting for the Lyft and I'm like in my room and I hear the door open. And he used the key to like from the lockbox to open the door because he knew like what the code was. So he essentially like, I mean, does that count as breaking and entering? Like, I guess it's not breaking, but it's like, you weren't allowed to be here. We broke up. No one said you could be here.
I have a similar story because my ex had my key, didn't have permission to get into my house, broke it. I don't know if we're going to... Unlocked my key with the key that he shouldn't have had to use.
Yeah.
And trashed my apartment.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean... I can relate, except I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I was there, and I just remember, like, walking out to the front door and, like, seeing him come in the house. The first thing he did was, like, lock the door and took my phone from me. And it was just, like, so, like, such a helpless feeling when you're, like, what the fuck? And we had, like, the front door was kind of, like, here, and we had, like, an island. So there's, like, a hallway, and you could, like, go through the front door here, go through the kitchen, like, go around. Mm-hmm. So, like... I knew my Lyft was coming. So I was like, fuck the phone. I don't need the phone. I just need to get into the Lyft, you know? Yeah. And I heard the chime because, like, you know, it has a certain sound. So I'm like, okay, I just need to get out. He's literally chasing me around the island, like, not letting me out, telling me I'm not allowed to leave. And I just, like, with the phone snatching, the locking the door, coming into the house, like, that was just the moment where I'm like...
He's going to kill me.
Or, like, I'm going to get my ass beat or something. Like, I didn't know, you know? And... Eventually, somehow, I ended up, like, running out of the house, down the stairs, and, like, to the Lyft. I'm hysterical, by the way, like, just a mess. Like, I had been drinking. I'm, like, crying, like, panicked.
Flight or flight is on freaking 10.
I'm, like, running out. I'm like, fuck the phone. Just get in the Lyft. I go out to the Lyft, and the Lyft driver, like, rolls down the window, like, Tatum, is this for you? You know? And I'm like... My ex-boyfriend is here. He's not supposed to be here. He broke into my house. He stole my phone. I just need you to call the police. I'm like, I just need you to dial 911. Like, he won't give me my phone. I don't have it. Can you please call 911? I kid you the fuck not.
Please tell me he helped you.
And this is so why it's so hard for women to... like, do the things that everyone says they're supposed to do. Yeah. I did not think I was going to get emotional.
It happens.
He looked at me and he said, "I'm sorry, but I don't want to get involved."
Are you kidding me?
And drove off.
You just wanted him to call 911.
I'm like, you don't even have to stay.
Just call 911.
Yeah, and literally drove off.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, I was like, well, like Beyonce, jealous or crazy, I'd rather be crazy. And I just started pounding on everybody's door. I'm like, all my neighbors fucking pounding, like yelling, you know, like someone has to help, you know? I didn't care at that point. And I think that like scared him enough to like leave. And he like threw my phone. I got my phone, called another Lyft. I was on like 2% at this point. I was like, please, my phone's about to die. Please just come get me. And I ended up getting into that Lyft. You think the story would be over, but it's just not.
Wow.
I know.
That is so crazy.
It's so fucking crazy. Like, I really can't make this shit up. I'm sure you feel the same way with your story too. It's like, it could literally be like a fucking TV drama. Mm-hmm. My other Lyft comes and I get in the front seat again, like just hysterical, like can't even speak.
Was it a man?
It was a man. You know, he was like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
You know, but he's like, are you okay? Like, did something happen? And I'm like hyperventilating. And I'm like, I just need a minute. You know, we're pulling out of the neighborhood. And I finally start to tell him like everything that just happened. Yeah. Pulling out of my complex, getting on the freeway, and he's like asking me like, oh, did something happen with your Lyft? And I was like, yes, kind of, but not really. Like, my man was here, blah, 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 like reiterating the story. And then he goes, oh, was it that guy like leaving in the white like 2-door pickup? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm sorry, it's not funny. He's like, oh, he's behind us. Okay.
Oh my God.
Hiding my pain with laughter, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he's behind us, he's following us. And I'm like, what? Like, looking back, his truck is dead ass behind us. At this point, I'll like wrap it up here because I've been talking forever. But at this point, like, he tried to run us off the freeway. Like,
the Lyft driver?
Yes. We were in the car. The guy's like, you need to call the police. So at that point, I was able to call the police, and, you know, they did like a round, but no one found him. I ended up back at my girlfriend's house thinking the night was over. And then at some point, he had clocked my location and still ended up there at like 4:30 in the morning, knocking on her door, and we had to call the police again. And that was like the end of it for me. I like deleted him off of socials. I blocked his number. You know, at that point.
Did you go no contact?
Yeah. And he was like standing at the door, like trying to do all these threats and like, you know, threaten me that he's gonna, whatever, like make my life hell and this, that, and the other. And he did, but you know, I don't know. That was like, I went no contact. I was done, completely done. That was like, I don't know, the weekend, whenever the Monday was, I went down to the courthouse, made order. Yeah. No, it's like an order of protection. They're not restraining orders in Arizona. And it's not about distance. It's about contact. That's like something that I had learned through this whole experience. So that all happened. And then 10 days later, I found out he moved into my apartment complex with his new girlfriend.
Are you kidding me? 10 days?
Yeah. The guy in the back's like, oh my God.
Hold on.
So what I had found out, because, you know, investigator mode at this point, she already lived there. She lived at the front of the apartment complex, and we were like in the back, but on the same street.
Yeah.
And I remember this was literally 10 days later. Like I said, there had been other scenarios where like I had been out, he had been out, like we'd seen each other at the same club, at the same parties, like within those 10 days. I had to get him served, that whole thing. And then I remember going to the gym and seeing his truck, but it was parked on the other side of the complex. And, you know, I was, like, paranoid at this point. Yeah. So, like, any 2-door single cab Chevy, I'm like, is that him? Is that him? He's showing up at clubs. He's, like, I'll see him driving down the same street I'm driving down. Like, all of these things. And then I see his truck, And I'm like in the gym and I'm like, am I going crazy? Like, there's no way it could be him. What would he be doing there?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I call my best friend and I'm like, dude, I think I saw his car. Like, she didn't even believe it. And then, yeah, and then somehow I ended up figuring it out. I think I was parked on the other side, like in a parking space, and I like went and looked, and there was like the hat sitting on the dashboard and the same license plate and all that. You know, and when you put an order of protection on someone, you're supposed to make police reports anytime you think they break it. And I say you think because I had to make 7 before they took mine to court. And because the complex that we lived in was individually owned condos, he technically was allowed to be there.
No
but
way.
If it was an apartment complex, he would not be allowed on the property.
Wow.
But there's so many loopholes in the laws because like the police department and the court systems, like they really don't like talk.
Work together.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my story.
You're like, and that's probably not all of it either.
No, I mean, I think like there's like other things that had happened that I kind of touched base on, but eventually it did end up in court. There was a time where he somehow had found me after the bar, and I was like with another guy leaving this. It was like a hotel, which kind of makes me sound like a hoe, but
I mean, if you go to Tempe, they have rooftop bars.
Yeah.
And it's at a hotel. Yeah. So,
Listen, I did not fuck that man, but I'm like, I wish I would have. But this was literally the only thing that saved me is another person was with me. So this guy, it was like 4:33 in the morning or something, and I'm walking to my Uber with this guy, and I see 2 people talking, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. And then I turn around, and it's literally the same fucking guy, my ex. And I just remember being like, oh my God. And I was holding the guy's hand, and I'm like, please don't look and please don't say anything, but like, I have a restraining order on my ex, and that's him. Like, I just need to leave. Like, I don't want to be here. And he's like, what the fuck is going on, you know? Anyways, he had ended up breaking his no contact by getting pissed off that he saw me with a guy.
But he has a whole girlfriend.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. And he started like yelling and cussing at me and like physically talking to me. And so the state, you know, prosecuted, or I guess I did too, but they followed through with the court order, and we went to court and all that. And this fucking guy, like literally a blessing. He's like, was such an angel, was here from out of town, never been to Arizona before. Like, I'm going through this like domestic violence case. He's being contacted by the police to pick my ex out of a lineup to like collaborate on the story to see if they can use him like in our court case. That is quite literally the only thing that I feel like saved me when, you know, he ended up getting.
So he helped you.
Yeah, the guy that...
The guy that you dated barely.
No, the guy that I literally was like, oh my God, he's so hot, I want to hang out with him. Like, that was it. That was literally it. We like hung out. He wanted me to stay, but I was like, listen, there's a lot going on.
And I don't want to involve you in this messiness.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, that was that. But that was what got him. It was the actual contact. It was the yelling at me, the talking to me, and... you know, that worked out in my favor. But, you know, I did have to go testify, like in court, on stand, get cross-examined by his attorney.
I bet you were freaking shitting bricks.
Yeah, I mean, it was
scary.
hard. It was hard. I think my, like, domestic violent advocate, she was honestly a blessing. And I think if you're, like, in that space, you have to be, because you know, like, what, like, people are going through and the people that they're dealing with.
My court case just ended... last month with my ex.
How long did it take?
Well, there was 3 or 4 different cases.
Shit.
There was a time when paint on my car.
Yes.
Threw me like so he's a business owner. So in his business, I was trying to get my keys or my purse or something from his business. So I'm trying to get into the business. He's literally shoving the door into my wrist.
Oh my God.
So I couldn't get in. Then He's like throwing, like physically picking me up and throwing me like a rag doll around the business.
Yeah.
Like I'm freaking out. I run to the pizza spot next to where his business is. And while I'm in there, he goes into his business, gets a bucket of paint all over my black car.
Oh my God.
I'm like freaking out. Like they're giving me rags to wipe it off. I'm like calling for help. They're calling 911. Like when they get there, I end up getting the paint off the car. Not all of it, but I wiped as much as I could. But it definitely damaged my paint. I had to go to the emergency room because he sprained my wrist was sprained. It was like I had a hairline fracture.
Oh my God.
In my wrist. Like
yeah, that's fucked.
all kinds of crazy shit like going on. So to have to go to court and have those conversations, number one, you're a nervous wreck. Number two, you don't even want to relive those moments.
Yeah.
And then have to be on stand. So I'm like, I want to hug you.
Oh.
That's so brave of you to even do something like that, because the thought of me doing that,
Yeah.
I was having anxiety like the whole entire time.
Girl, I lost 25 pounds in 20 days. I had never experienced anxiety before all of this happened, and I didn't actually know what was going on. I obviously like stopped eating. Like it just wasn't a thing, and I was having panic attacks, and I didn't know that that's what it was. And yeah, the testifying, like I went back and forth with it because it just came down to like, you know, I don't know. It's like so hard because it's like you just want it to be over. But then I think a piece of me is like, I know how difficult it is for like women to do that, to do these things. So I wanted to be the one to say, you can fucking do it, girl.
You can.
And honestly, I have to like shout out my mom a lot because she was like my rock and standing behind me, telling me like, you're gonna feel better sticking up for yourself this way. Absolutely. Rather than just letting it slip under the rug. She's like, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, fuck that guy, and charges were pressed and now you're in trouble and now there are consequences. And like my hope was just that he didn't treat the next girl the way he treated me.
Yeah.
You know, and his girl that lived in the complex at the time, she also tried to like testify on his behalf, which like nothing's like, it just truly looked like, sounds maybe fucked up, but like the battered woman syndrome. Like when she stood up and she's like trying to like testify on his behalf, I'm like,
you don't know. Can
everyone else see what's going on here? You know what I mean? It's just like, it truly was like insane to see that, but whatever. The judge was so great and she shut that down really quick because she obviously
could see through the facade.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. But yeah, it's scary. It's crazy. Like having an attorney trying to like poke holes in your story and like make it seem like discredit your,
like you're the issue.
Yeah. And I think that was like the one thing that saved me in that moment, because there was a moment where she like questioned me and I just kind of, instead of like answering yes or no, I like had a question back. I'm like, do you understand what it's like to be in a relationship like this? I'm like, and then I had a moment to like tell a story, and you know, it took me down and I like started crying, and it was like true emotion to be like, this is like how it made me feel. Of course I didn't do XYZ. Like I just wanted to get out of there. Like look at all these things. Have you read all the police reports? There's 7.
Yeah.
Do you not know he like moved into my apartment complex? Like what more do I have to say for you to be like, hello?
Yeah.
You know, he's doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I always said during this time, there's no coincidence when it comes to crazy. I just don't believe in coincidence when it comes to crazy. Yeah. How did he show up at the spot? How did he know what club I was in? How was he driving down the street at the same time? I just don't believe in coincidence.
Yeah.
As soon as the court case ended, never heard from him, never seen him since that day.
Hallelujah.
Never again.
Hallelujah.
I'm like, isn't that crazy?
Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us today on the Don't Be Shady podcast. I hope today's conversation with Miss Tatum from Girl, Stop Talking gave you inspiration and encouragement to know that you are never alone. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please remember help is available. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE or text START to 888-788 24/7 for support. If you are on your healing journey and you want to discover your voice, your strength, and your power, I love to walk alongside you. I'm a women's empowerment coach, and you can book my services to start your journey of growth and healing. For more information, you can visit my Instagram called Don't Be Shady Pod. Until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are strong, and you are never alone. All right, that's a wrap on this episode of Don't Be Shady. If you laughed, nodded, or said, even once, go ahead and follow, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Slide into my DMs on Instagram, and let's keep the convo going. And remember, keep it cute, keep it classy, and don't be shady.